welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. We are live in our studio, bringing you the show about creating momentum in your life. We are your hosts, Jay Farrow and Janine Davis.
Hello, everyone. Please join us on Facebook, where we can be found at the Momentum Mindset Show. We would love to hear from you at Studio A while we are live. Call in at 888-994-4995. And if the phone isn't your thing, comment on Facebook and we can chat with you there.
We are here to support you to create some momentum in your life. And so, let's create momentum.
Well, hello, everybody. It's that time. It's Friday at 5:30-ish. Welcome to the Momentum Mindset Show. I am your co-host, Janine Davis, joined by my other co-host,
Jay Farrow. How's everybody doing in entrepreneur land?
And Jay, sorry to put you on the spot, but I really wanted to take a snapshot of your face before we got on the air, and it was something like this. Because we're exhausted. Jay's exhausted.
So
I'm exhausted.
I read a lot of the stories from Navy SEALs, and each of them talk about their training in this thing called BUDS, and part of it's thing called Hell Week, and how it's 1 week without sleep, of grueling physical and mental exercises and torture, and it's just like, I don't know how many people quit. Like the class starts off with like 150 and 25 people end up becoming a SEAL, and most of the people like quit in this Hell Week. And I'm reading about it, and they're talking about like getting through each second, like just get through another second, and then you add the seconds together, and it ends after a week. What we go through hasn't ended in 2 years, and that's the feeling that I got today. And here's what come up for me. Yeah, this is what came up for me today is self-doubt. You know, like, am I on the right track? Am I doing the right things? Am I being true to myself, my vision? And some things are coming up of like, you know, what if I'm wrong? And the reason why this kind of came up in a big way is that I spoke to an attorney this week of the, you know, old school elk, you know, and he's like, you know, like telling me that I'm barking up the wrong tree. And I said to him, every innovator was called crazy. Every innovator was told that you can't do it. Every innovator was told you're breaking a normal and you're an outcast. Every one of them. And yet we celebrate all of them. And the celebration, the like Thomas Edison and the light bulb. All right.
Excuse me. What about Galileo? What about Galileo saying that, you know, all of these people saying that the Earth isn't flat? He was ostracized.
The light bulb is a symptom of a lifestyle of commitment to what's possible. And I said to them, that's like, you know what? And you know, my co-counsel was saying to this guy today, you know, it's easy for people with the money and the power to say that this is the way that it's always been, and this is the way it's always going to be. And how dare you try to rise up or change anything that's working for me? That's working for me. But it's like, wait a second. The law is for everybody, not just for you because you have money and power. You've abused it. And somebody, you know, is now using tools that make it less expensive to litigate by seeking information through social media. And, you know, so I hear this today, this week, and it came up with this conversation with this other lawyer. And I know what we're doing here, no other law firm in the country is doing to the extent that we're doing it. It doesn't exist out there. And the question is, you know, why hasn't it existed? Why is the questions not asked more about why the little guy gets shafted in the law. You can only get the justice that you can pay for. You're innocent until proven broke. So even though I know in my heart that what I'm doing is in integrity and it's truly revolutionizing the legal system in such a way that it will provide for a fair and equitable system of justice, or a more fair system. Even though I know that in my heart, when you hear this come up, and I'm just talking to the entrepreneur because I happen to be in the legal field and being an innovator in the legal field. But for anybody that's out there, you're going to hear that you can't do it, that you shouldn't do it, that you should go back and work for somebody from 9 to 5, that you should stop those ridiculous fantasies and those ridiculous dreams and stop that stuff. And it's hard to not listen to those voices, because it's like those Navy SEAL instructors that start calling out to the guys that are in the middle of the sea and in the cold water, saying, "Hey, I got a warm blanket for you. I got some warm soup.
Right.
I got a bed for
Ring the
you.
bell. Ring the
Right.
bell. When
Ring
you
the
ring the
bell."
bell at SEAL training, that means you're done. You're out. You quit. You can't do it. So, and they yell at them, ring the bell, ring the bell.
So this week was a lot of that. Like I had to fight through wanting to listen to not just the voice of this one lawyer, but my own internal voices, because it does get to a point where, like, when is this going to end? Is there an end game to this? When is the sun going to rise? I saw a lot of the Celebration of America on one of the channels, and everybody's talking about sunrise, this being a brand new day. It's like, after all this darkness, you're going to see light. And I got to tell you, if you're out there and you're an entrepreneur and you're an innovator, it may take you a heck of a lot longer than you ever thought that it would ever take for you to make it. Like, if I look back, if I'm thinking to myself right now, man, I've gone through this much, and why is things aren't the way that I want them to be? And that's really my victim's mentality speaking out, saying, I'm entitled to have something happen to me, in the way that I want it, when I want it, and I want to be comfortable. I want to be safe. I want to be told that I'm right. I want to be told that, nothing bad's going to happen. This guy was saying, you should be afraid of this guy. Like he said, quote unquote, this evangelical Christian out of Northern Florida. You should be afraid of him. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not. The only thing that I'm afraid of, Janine, it is that propensity to listen to the voice of internally, like, oh, you can't do this.
Yes, down the rabbit hole of that fear cycle, right? So, listen, I think that you go through your process, I go through my process, but we're really going through it together, because even though sometimes I'm not actively on these phone calls, I listen to the people, and the amount of times I want to literally reach through the phone and tell these people, shut the F up. If you, like, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about. Number two, you've drunk the Kool-Aid so hard that you're literally a drunk at the bar. Number three, I'm not into your fear mongering. Like, of course you're going to tell us that what we're doing is this, that, and the other, because it serves you. You're getting paid by a guy who's profiting handsomely out of something that we're illuminating as fraud. So I'm not surprised by it. And this is what I was telling you earlier today, Jay. Look, we are bringing to light things that people would really rather sweep under the rug. You think those people who were at the church feigning their Christianity on Sundays want anybody to know that they're really thieves? No, they don't, because they are ashamed. But they're not ashamed enough to stop it. They're just ashamed to the point where they wish no one else to know about it. This is a big distinction. Okay? So I'm sorry. We're not here to shame you, but we're also not here to participate in your cover up. Like, this is not our function in life. We're not participating in your farce of a life. And to the extent that you've stolen from our clients, we have the right to illuminate it. This is our
Right.
job. And you don't like it? You know what? Guess what? Our clients didn't particularly enjoy losing millions of dollars to you either. So, sorry. These are the kinds of things where you realize that everyone is really a kid. Like
Yeah,
they want
that's
to get away
exactly
with
right.
it. They
These are just
want to get
little
away with
punk
their bad
kids.
behavior.
Little punk kids in the schoolyard. I mean, that's basically what it is. Listen, I was bullied as a kid. I know what it's like. I know what it's like for someone to steal my lunch money and just give it to him the next day because I was afraid until I
But
actually
don't
had
go
to
too
stand up.
far. We have other defendants that presented us with an a hilarious settlement proposal. Hilarious. I mean, when I read it, I couldn't stop laughing. My point is this, like, people are delusional and they want you to participate in their delusion, and they're very upset when you won't.
But they also want to keep you safe, keep you small, and
Yep.
stay in your place, stay in your box,
Yep.
because if you get out, you might take some of my stack, my money. So how dare I, attempt to revolutionize or I think the law? Let me explain. Like we're doing this in the iteration of a law firm, and I said to this
It could be
lawyer,
anything, right?
there
It
was
could
a
be anything.
time, there was a time that people told people standing up for civil rights that they should
Hmm.
stay where they are.
Yep.
There's lawyers that lost their lives, lawyers that got beat up in the civil rights movement and got arrested because it's like, how dare you use the 14th Amendment to argue that that the states have to have civil rights? How dare you? I mean, women looking to get the right to vote. That started someplace. It started with someone's idea saying this, just because it's been this
100%.
way, just because women have been considered property of their husbands doesn't mean that it needs to be that way. Again, there's no reason for it. None. And so every innovator, every person with a vision when it comes to
Every
law,
person
or
who dares to say no.
you're gonna we know it. You're gonna run into the one thing that will stop you from getting to where you want to go, and it's the internal conversation of doubt, and the only way to get through that is repetition. Like, do tomorrow what I did yesterday. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do my workout, do my meditations, get to work, eat 6 times a day, do my work in excellence, and then do it the next day, and do it the next day, and do it the next day.
How
And
many
I'm very
people,
proud of
Jake,
us. Listen,
told
I'm very
Elon
proud of us.
Musk?
We have not once shirked, ran away. We have, conquered, every single hurdle along the way. So
Right,
that
but don't go too far. We have innovators now in our present day. How many people told Steve Jobs that he was a nut? Told him,
right.
no, you're crazy. He got kicked out of his own company. How many people told Elon Musk, you're crazy? Richard Branson, you'll never do space travel. All of these people withstood people saying no to them. No, you're crazy. Stay safe. Aren't you rich enough? You're good. You don't need to go further. But that's not what it's about. And that's also not the zealous advocacy for your client.
Yeah, no, this guy said this is not going to end well for you. That's one of the and you know what?
That sounds like a threat
Listen,
to
guys,
me.
we're human beings. So when we hear some disapproval from another human being, it's going to have some effect. Some more than others, depends on the person. But it's like, if you hear that you can't, if you hear that you shouldn't, if you hear that it's not possible, if you hear that you should stay in your lane, if you hear that you should stay in your box, you're on the right track,
Yeah,
because you're doing the right things when the right people are pissed off at you.
yeah,
So if I'm upsetting like some people that have this idea of way it always has been and always shall be, and I'm doing something that's novel and innovative and creative and efficient and saves my clients money. Look, it's gonna happen that all of us innovators that have the courage to continue with the perseverance of our purpose, you're going to hear this negative feedback. You're going to hear it from the world because you are literally interrupting human beings' patterns because they have it the way that they have it And when you interrupt the pattern, like an intervention, you're going to have kickback. You're going to have resistance. You're going to have people that don't want you to change. And even for those people that have decided today's the day that they're going to start going to the gym and going a workout program or level up their life, you're going to be very, very surprised that within a very short amount of time, the people that even love you the most are going to tell you, why are you doing this? You're working out too much. You look too skinny. Why are you doing this? Because you are challenging them, their greatest self, to also change. And that
Right.
and that bothers people. People don't want
Well,
to do
nobody wants change, and this is what we experience. Listen, our social media posts and our notice to witnesses that we do here in the law firm, they offend a lot of sensibility. They offend sensibilities. Again, to me, I am no longer. I'm surprised at how committed people are to their bullshit and to their darkness. That does surprise me. However, I do also think that. I personally, when I hear it, I'm not willing to take it. Like I completely discount what they're saying. Like they're a no to me. They do something viscerally to my body, and I just lump them in the pile of like, oh, you're part of the problem, not the solution. I think they don't realize it. They're too dark and asleep in their own lives to see it. So I'm not. I don't get concerned when the bad guys and their lawyers tell us what they tell us on a consistent basis. They're hired to do that. They believe it, so they can't really tell us anything different. And my late mother, may she rest in peace, used to say, when anybody ever tells you anything, consider the source, consider who they are as a person, consider all of these things. Do you respect them? Do they speak truth? Do they not speak truth? Don't just take it as it's meaningful. It's not necessarily. And so when I hear them expounding their nonsense about and their offense about what we're doing, it just proves to me that we're on the right track. They're
Hey,
not a
Glenn,
part of our club, and they're not a part of a club that I want us to be a part of anyway.
I have not drove. Glenny's asking if we've ever driven a Tesla. No, I do know some
Not
people with them, and they enjoy it.
very
Um,
much, very much. But again, who everyone told Elon Musk he was nuts,
right.
and now Teslas have they have a wait list to buy them. So I don't
And
know,
that's
Jay.
and
Like,
that's so when if you've decided to innovate, you're passionate about what you do. I mean, listen, you're not if you're experiencing self-doubt, questioning everything, even if you're 3 years into the process like we are, let me tell you something. It's normal. It's normal, and it will pass. And as long as you, I mean, it's a matter of focus. When I get like that, if I focus on something else, or get into one of my cases, or get into something else, or start writing music, I mean, it takes me out of that it's like a spin cycle, and
well, also,
sometimes it requires you to tell somebody how you're feeling,
yeah.
sometimes it
But also,
requires.
we talk about this on the show too, and it's part about creating momentum in your life. The self-doubt is I think, a natural process of creating, but it's also a habit. And we cannot discount the power of our habits, but we are not necessarily the habit itself. So I think it takes an awareness to recognize the thought, give it its 2-second due, and figure out a way to move on from it. Because it doesn't really, it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't really serve. It just keeps us in that loop of what if, what if, what if, what if what? I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
it is a game of what ifs. It's a game of consequences. It's a game of what it's like what I don't want to experience is this, and it comes down to shame and, looking bad. Uh,
yeah.
so look, you do the best that you possibly can, but recognizing that if you're really going to take yourself on and you're really going to upgrade your life, there's going to be parts of that journey that you are going to say, what the ever living crap am I doing? Why do I get up at this time? Why do I eat this way? Everybody else does this. Why am I not doing what my friends are doing? Hi, Cheryl. Happy Friday to you too. Um, it's okay because on the other side of this, and I've seen glimmers of light. So it hasn't been complete darkness, Janine. You know, we've seen glimmers of light along this journey, and I know that there's a sunshine that's coming. I know there's a new day that's going to dawn. Um, and you know, we have Glenny's mentioned that we have a new president, even, and
Right,
you
I'm
know,
writing to the chat.
there's so many things to be excited about. You know, but give yourself a break. Understand that you're human. If you're going through change, keep going. Don't stop because it's uncomfortable, because it's all going to be uncomfortable. And then you can ask yourself 6 months later, this is not getting any better. Like I still feel the same. I feel trapped. I feel like I'm in prison. And really what you're in is in a tunnel, a cocoon of transformation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so every time that you're going to hear that negative feedback, don't do it. You can't. It's never been done before. It's impossible. You know, the guy that ran the first 4 minute mile, that was impossible. I mean, there were scientists out there that said there's no guy that's going
Yeah,
to break the 4 minute mile. It's
right.
absolutely physically impossible for a human being to break it. And then a guy does. And then you know what happens? 2 weeks later, 2 months later, 13 other people break that 4 minute barrier. And then subsequently, hundreds of people or thousands of people have actually broken the 4 minute barrier.
Listen,
Only
during
impossible
the Cold
hasn't been done.
War, during the time of the Cold War, we didn't see we would ever see that. We didn't think at the time that we could see the fall of the Soviet Union, and boom, there it was. Like so many things, good, bad, and indifferent. Like we didn't think we could see or whatever. That's why today, Jay, and I've shared this with our audience as well. I I'm kind of amused and surprised at how really genuinely rebellious I am. I am very careful what I believe. I question the source very much. I don't just take things at face value. And you know, I tend to believe things that from, I don't know, I just don't believe everything that the masses believe in the sense that I don't believe limitation the way I used to. I think it's all a story. I think it's all BS. You know, I just, and yes, sometimes it can get dark and frustrating. We had a very frustrating morning, surprising morning. Then we get unexpected blessings. Like it's all a potpourri. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it's all shit, and I don't believe it's all rainbows and butterflies either. It's a mix, and it's all good. It's all happening for us if we choose. So, you know,
Keep going.
and we are
Keep
human
going.
beings. There are days where we have low energy. There are days where we're tired. I was speaking to a client today, and she was talking to me about self-doubt as well and doubt. And she asked me, do you doubt this particular project that they're endeavoring to enter into? And I said, no. The only thing I do experience, however, is the fatigue of the challenges that come with taking on something so large. That can get tiresome every now and then. But I take time to myself, I regenerate, I do what I need to do, and then it's back on that horse. I have a down moment or a down day, but it doesn't last because I'm committed to living my best life. And that's really that's what I believe. That's what I choose for myself, you know. Oh, okay, Glennie, you are too. Okay, yes, because we have the freedom to
Power.
discern.
We
Yeah.
have the whole deal is, guys, a human being's ability to choose
Mm-hmm.
is the is it that's it means when you because you have the ability to choose what you believe, you are at cause, you are it, you are sourced, you are the one that can actually define your reality, you and you alone. You know, that choice that we have to interpret things. And so, like when you hear negative feedback, you could say, I'm on the right track. That's
Yeah.
the flip
Yeah.
the script. Every time I hear that, it means that I'm on the right track. If I'm not hearing that I'm not if I'm not hearing that I'm crazy, that I shouldn't, that I and mind you, don't go out and rob a bank, you know. But at the
No,
same
this
time, you gotta be you got to check in with yourself, check in with your heart. Where do you want to go? What is your passion? What is your mission? And you're going to have the doubt along the way. I did today. And you know what? Now that I'm talking about it, I feel better, you know? I'm sharing it. I
That's
feel
what
like
it takes, right? It takes sharing your experience and getting it out of your body in order to really sort of make sense of it, right? Because sometimes it can get really muddled and collapsed onto other things inside of our mind. So it's really important to share and know really that you're not alone in the process of creation. And listen, we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to make choices, but we also get to learn from them. I think that that's really where psychologically I feel that I have we are you, Jay and Janine. We are brothers and sisters. Yes, we are all connected. Actually, Jay and I were talking about the collective consciousness not the other day. So we are all connected. Absolutely. I believe that.
so
Um,
everybody
but
just listen. My message
yeah,
for this week is this is the hardest thing that you'll ever do in your life is to change. I mean, and to create the life that you want. I mean, the true life that you actually want to live in, that you're fulfilled in. I would say that that verse in the Bible is that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle for a man to get to that heaven. And I think that that's the heaven that we're talking about. It's not maybe one out of 10 million will ever get there. And most ring the bell along the way. Don't ring that bell. Keep going. Keep believing in yourself and what you're up to. And yes, have your down day, have your moment, and shift left. Choose a new moment where you get to interpret the life that you would like to see. And with that,
amen.
everybody, we'll see you
Amen,
next week.
Brother Jay. Amen.
We'll,
You know
we'll see
what?
you next week.
So grateful for the times that we do get to laugh and really it's such a blessing to have this platform to talk about what we do on a daily basis. And thank you to anyone who takes the time to tune in with us and keep going yourself. And if you all need anything, hit us up. We're here. We're all in this together. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the Momentum Mindset Show with your host, Jay Farrow
And Janine Davis. Contact